What is up, bros? Josh here. In today's video, we are previewing the Tier 7, currently work in progress, Italian cruiser, the Gorizia. Now, this one was announced that it will be available through the directives in the upcoming 8.11 patch, so look forward to that. You can get your hands on this ship for free just by completing the directives and maybe doing some extra missions or something like that. We've seen this as a pattern in the past with a bunch of ships, so we're kind of getting into the habit of hopefully getting some cool reward ships. However, this one though is Italian. Now, good or bad, however you want to call it, it is Italian, so that means it is, whether you like the ammo or not, in my opinion, kind of cursed by the SAP ammo. Now, you will see throughout this entire video that we actually do pretty well on this. That is because we are top tier. This is a tier 7. And we were going against a lot of tier 5s and tier 6s. This thing struggled when it came to being bottom tiered. I feel like the matchmaking has awkwardly switched from tier 7 being this really, really good matchmaking tier to, I think, recently being kind of this tier of not really getting the best matchmaking, but still I feel like tier 7s still, when top tiered, have a big advantage against other ships. So what kind of is this ship? Well, it's basically a premium version of the Zara, the tier 7 tech tree ship, but this one trades off Hydro for torps. As you see, it is basically the only Italian ship that doesn't have torps. That is a cruiser, at least, and doesn't have torps, but you do have Hydro, which is kind of nice. However, though, still with that relatively long reload and still with the SAP ammo. There was one game where we were bottom tiered where it was us versus a bunch of battleships, and I think I hit a Freddy de Grobe for like 30, no, what was it, 70 some hits. I think 74 hits, and we did like 32,000 damage to it. It was almost depressing. I am not a big fan. I'm interested in what you guys think. Obviously, you get salvos like that, 10k on the broadside. That's awesome. But I'm interested in what you guys think of the SAP in general. What you guys think of ammo type. I feel like situations right here are the best. This is when that SAP ammo is going to shine and be able to absolutely chunk in half a destroyer in one salvo. But you have to find those DDs with ships that don't have radar, yada yada. But still, these ships can be quite punishing to the right scenarios. But I feel like overall, HE still with that 203 could have been in the worst HE. The 203s could have just done more damage overall, as you'll see me shoot these guys a bunch of times and only do pretty mediocre damage. I'm interested in what you guys think of SAP in general overall. It seems like the Italian cruiser line is kind of either people have no interest in them, as personally I don't really have much interest in them. There are some that are a little bit better, you know, some of the higher tiers are all right, but I feel like overall mediocre at best, if anything. I feel like this could, with it being a free ship, I can't harp on it too much, but I really hope that this one maybe follows the pattern of the past premium Italian cruisers, which those ones all had HE. So if you look at stuff like the Abruzzi and we look at stuff like the Duca d'Aosta, these ones all had normal HE. I would love to see this being that type of cruiser with normal HE. I doubt they'll do it. It looks like they're pretty set on them wanting to be this special SAP ammo, which is kind of a bummer. I think overall the ship is okay, but I mean, it's not going to be anything too impressive. I mean, there are so many situations if I was in when I was playing through the ship, there's so many situations where if I was a Miyoko, if I was insert anything that just had normal HE, I just would have had such a better impact on the game, would have probably been able to win a few more games, and I feel like SCP as an overall ammo type, to me, is just a total limp noodle. You expect damage, and shells are bouncing, shells aren't doing any damage, and it's pretty, I don't know, it's pretty mediocre, as I can say. I can think the entire Italian cruiser line, mediocre is what I think of. But this game in general, though, was pretty good. This one was definitely one to get excited about. And we're kind of trying to hold down the whole side by ourselves. As you see, our team is kind of all split up, and we actually hang on. So it was quite fun. But yes, it's always nice to see a SAP ammo with a relatively high you know, pen, bounce, a ricochet on an Atlanta. That's always what you want to see. But yeah, I don't want to harp on SAP too much as an ammo type. But this ship, with it being free, you can't argue with free. But I feel like I think overall Italian ships are quite fun in the fact that I like their maneuverability. I really like their maneuverability. I like their ability to use their smokes. And this one having Hydro is kind of interesting. The hydro is kind of nice. You definitely do miss having torps. There's so many spots where it's like, man, I wish I kind of had torps here, even though they're kind of those long range, slow meme torps. I think there are tons of situations where they're actually quite nice. I did feel like the ships are, and this ship especially is relatively accurate, and the shells are at a pretty fast trajectory. But again, not having the option to actually set fires, you get a lot of salvos kind of like that. And, you know, SAP, it just to me seems so unreliable. Again, I'm getting on an SAP roast, but I don't really want to harp on that again too much. But this ship in general at tier 7, it will be okay. As we see it right here, it is still work in progress, so these stats are subject to change. It is with a 37,000 HP health pool at tier 7, which is pretty solid. The main battery with a 203s. They are big 203s, so as you saw, even with the SCP salvo, I was able to get 10k on the broadside battleship, and even with some bit, obviously the 203s AP on some cruisers, you're definitely going to do a ton of work, and you'll see me do a ton of damage on a broadside battleship as well with the AP. They are 203s. They are going to kind of wreck. Secondaries aren't anything to write home about, and the range on this ship is 15.6 kilometers, and that's as far as you can get it. Also, the reload is at 16 seconds. So that's kind of the pattern of these Italian cruisers. You have that special ammo, and you have the ability to be, I think, fairly agile, bring that cool smoke to the table too, have a little fun with that. But you are then reliant on that ammo type, which, again, don't want to make fun of it too much. But having the hydro is kind of nice. It seems like the Italian cruiser would have made like a perfect kind of anti-DD line with having hydro on the mainland. I always kind of wondered when we first got them why the Italian cruisers weren't getting hydro. I thought it was kind of cool. They seem like they're fairly maneuverable. They're fairly fun to play and that way, but apparently no hydro for them. This one does again trade off that for torps. The AA was okay, nothing too crazy, and we didn't really spec too much into AA. I think we had BFT maybe. The thing is, I will be releasing a captain's video for Italian cruisers. I know I get asked a lot, so I apologize on the delay on that, but Italian cruisers, captains, a lot of people have been asking about that. It's kind of a fun captain to actually do a build of, because, you know, inertia fuse and demo expert and stuff like that doesn't really work. You can't even really use them. Obviously you can't use them, so you can make some pretty fun builds with it, and a lot of lower tier stuff, a lot of 1-point captain skills, a lot of 2-point captain skills can be pretty accurate. So look forward to that video coming up with this ship. So the AA, nothing too crazy. The maneuverability though, I do like the maneuverability of these cruisers. I think it's quite fun. And again, using that smoke is your advantage, as long as you can go dark with the smoke. Not being able to can be kind of tough. And this game was kind of a goofy game. Everyone was afraid to do stuff except I was kind of holding down the side, but I didn't realize everybody else on my team was being so passive. Also, that is one thing that is kind of nice, as you can see right here. A perfect example is the hydro is the German high tier hydro. So this had a couple situations where you were able to dunk on DDs. 6-kilometer range on that hydro, very nice. And there was even one time where I was playing against 2 seal clubbing kamikaze R's, and they both popped up right in front of me, and we were able to kill them both when I was playing this, so kind of goofy. But yeah, the 203s with a 6-kilometer hydro, I forgot that's kind of the big standout thing. That's quite nice, but again, got to get close enough to actually use it effectively. But if you can use the island cover and get into a good spot, you can do a lot of damage with that, as we were able to get in that DD. But the concealment is max 12.2 kilometers. So 12.2 kilometers with a 15.6 kilometer range on its main battery. So not too much of an area there to be able to continue to kind of wobble around and whatnot. Also, we tested our luck against the broadside sailing hood here, but we are still a cruiser. I was hoping that we could maybe juke his shot a little bit here and try to push in, and we get punished. Broadside cruiser, still a cruiser, and I think we get hit. Yeah, we got hit by 2 shells, and they were both citadels. That's a bummer right there. So, but we will, I think, get the kill right here and continue to push in and do what we can do here. I was hoping to just trade with this and the other battleship and then just call it a day and probably lose the game. But we were able to keep hanging on here, and as we have our entire team behind me just kind of supporting me all full life, doing what they do best. But yeah, overall the stats on the ship are quite good, and I feel like this ship would actually be pretty damn good. Now, do I think it'd be the strongest tier 7? If it had HE, no. But do I think it'd be a pretty strong tier 7? Yeah, I think so. I think it would be, at least in the higher end of this tier. It hits really hard. I think the smoke is really cool. Having that hydro can be very dangerous. If it just had normal HE, again, the biggest downside of anything Italian coming forward is currently that SAP ammo. Unless they think of something that maybe, I don't know, has a high rate of fire or something like that, but that slow rate of fire without having the chance of lighting fires is something that is going to be a huge detriment to anything going forward. That's just 100% truth in my opinion for the Italian cruisers. Now you can see me do some decent damage here against this Koenig with the AP. Again, no torps. We don't have torps on this ship, and we're trying to just push forward. The Scharnhorst ends up sailing broadside and gets killed. But those 203s knocking through that German armor. 5k salvo here, 4k salvo here. Again, they are 203s, so they're going to do a pretty solid job. And it would have been nice to have torps here. Would have felt a little bit more safe. And I think we even bounce a shell here. I'm not quite sure. I know we're bouncing probably some secondaries, but able to go in here and finish that. And you'll see this thing kind of do a pretty good job. So at the end, it is again 203s. And they get the blasts and broadsides. Again, I like the smokes. There's part of the Italian line that I really, really wish, I really like. I like a lot about this. I used to be a big cruiser player. I'm more of a DD player these days. Again, against destroyers, these things blop. So there's the highlight of the shot. And yeah, trying to get these guys to get them to go forward. As you see, I think our Nagato is full life running away when we're down by a whole bunch of points, and I just need some freaking support. Also, expert marksmanship. Again, I try to talk about this every time I'm talking about Italian cruisers. Expert loader is kind of prime as a captain skill, so definitely recommend that. Again, you saw there I was able to get that salvo off on that Nachi just because I had expert loader. If I wouldn't have, I wouldn't have been able to get it. So we're trying to use some cover here. There's our Kraken. We are in a test ship, so it didn't show up, but we are making a comeback in this ship. Now I do want to say this game makes it look like it was pretty good. I could have posted several other games that would have made this ship just feel so underwhelming. And again, it's not so much the ship. It really isn't. I feel like the base of this ship is fairly solid. It is truly this ammo type. It is the ammo type that holds it back. I really wish maybe Wargaming, I've brought it up with them. I got a lot of good feedback from some other CCs. I really think that if this ship just had some normal 203s, it would be pretty dang good. I think it'd be a lot of fun. I doubt they'll do it though. Because, you know, I think they want to keep the SAP and they don't want to quite get away from it as a total ammo. I feel like this ship could be really fun, really good, and could be quite fun to play. However, I feel like with what this ship is right now, it's going to be haunted by the SAP ammo type, and I think that's what really holds it back. So this overall was a really good game with this ship. However, could I have done this with basically any other tier 7? I'm not quite sure. There are salvos that we got that were, you know, the couple salvos on the destroyers, 7,500 on the first salvo on that DD, and we had the Hydro, so that obviously was a scenario that was only this ship or maybe a German ship. So there are scenarios that this ship basically was the only thing that could have done it with the cruiser slot. But could everything else have kind of been a shot? And I think this was a pretty good shot right here. Oh no, the next one was. But yeah, it has some good tools to be it. But again, I feel like I'm gonna be repeating myself way too much this video, so I apologize. I'm just pretty. I always get bummed out when I have to play with the SAP ammo. I just don't think it was quite ready for the game in general. So the Shores is gonna work down the line, which is nice. This is one of those games that it probably didn't need to be this hard, but finally people were able to kind of push in. The Nagato started clicking its mouse and obviously smashed the Mutsu. So the Mutsu is going down. Our Shores is winning that fight as well, which is good. And then I end up dropping some big 203s on this broadside. Italian friend of mine over here, and we will call it a day. Just figuring out which way he's going. Dropping the 203s right here. Again, very accurate, nice dispersion. You know, nothing wrong with that salvo right there. So overall, this ship, I think, and the credits you will see in the game ending screen, are because I got a mission done for these test ships. So obviously we didn't make that much credit, that many credits, but still, overall, I think this ship has a great base. I think overall the stats are pretty good on it. But again, there's one large thing that sets it. I think that just completely drags it down for strength of the ship and me being excited for the ship, and that is the ammo type that it has to deal with. AP is good if you can hit those broadsides, as you saw, good damage. SAP, just so unreliable. It seems like it does a ton of damage one salvo and then almost no damage or literally no damage the next salvo. It's just, to me, it's just so unreliable as a cruiser player. And when you have to deal with a whole bunch of ships kind of beating down on you, not having torps, not having fires to push people off, you kind of feel helpless. And that's what you do, especially when you get bottom tiered. This thing is definitely going to struggle. It's not very stealthy. It doesn't have that good of range. You're going to have a tough time when being bottom tiered. Obviously, when you're top tiered, as we saw in that game, it can smash, but so can everything at tier 7. So anyways, guys, wanted to show you a preview of the currently work in progress tier 7 Gorizia. This ship will be available for free through the directives in the upcoming patch, so just keep an eye out for that and look forward to playing in 8.811 because it's going to be a big update. I'm excited for it. But anyways, guys, that's it for me. Hope you guys enjoyed this video. Remember, like, subscribe. I'll see you guys next time.